Hello and welcome to TechExpedia. This is me, Rabab Zehra. I have with me Fida Kibi. She is Vice President, Head of Marketing, Communications, Sustainability and Corporate Responsibility at Ericsson Middle East and Africa. So, hi Fida, how are you?
Hello, Rabab, and warm welcome to Ericsson's virtual meeting platform, I would say.
Yes, I'm so excited because speaking to a woman in technology industry always excites me. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. So I met Fida last week at an event. It was Etisalat and Ericsson Sustainability Day Race to Net Zero event, and we had a quick chat over there about Ericsson sustainability initiatives. But that was not enough. So I thought of setting up a detailed conversation with Fida to know more about the overall strategy of Ericsson sustainability journey and more initiatives. So, Fida, I would like to ask how integral is sustainability to Ericsson's overall strategy?
First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity again, Rabab. Sustainability is at the core of our strategy. It's at the core of our revised and renewed, purpose as a company. We are very much committed to drive, our business responsibly, to deliver sustainable solutions, and to really contribute to the climate action worldwide. We believe that sustainability is critical for our long-term growth as well. And we engage with our customers, with our suppliers, and we educate our employees with regards to how to drive value for the world around us from creating sustainable technologies. Also, one thing that I would like to highlight, which is very important, that recently there was a ranking by the Wall Street Journal, and Ericsson was named one of the top 100 companies, or came in the ranking, in the upper ranking of the 100 companies that create long-term shareholder value for throughout sustainability and sustainable business practices. So definitely, it is part of our core strategy. It is part of what we do as a company, what we drive. And for over 2 decades, I can say that we have been advocate for the climate action. I know now climate action is very much in focus following the COP26, summit. And it is one of our climate action is one of the strategic key pillars that we drive, at Ericsson as part of the sustainability strategy. We are applying our technologies to accelerate the shift to a low carbon economy. We are finding new ways to improve energy efficiency, which I will tell you about very soon, and also in our discussion. And we are also innovating. We monitor as well our own emissions, and we have clear targets to reduce our own emissions. And it is all as part of our focus and our strategy for the coming 5 years and 10 years.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, building on my previous question, how does Ericsson work with energy consumption and energy performance of its products in the context of sustainability and net zero?
Look, I will tell you. I mean, we work primarily with the operators, who are the communication service providers. And communication service providers, they have estimated, are estimated to be spending over 25 billion USD a year to power their networks and site infrastructure, for consumption, and for budgeting, that estimate. And from our side, we are committed to what we call breaking the energy curve. You have heard, I'm sure, in the summit when our my colleague Matt spoke about it in more details. So we are committed to breaking the energy curve, and we are focusing on creating innovative approaches that enable, the communication, the CSPs, the communication service providers network, to use as little energy as possible, and while managing at the same time, expected growth in the data traffic in their networks. This, I would say, innovative approach of breaking the energy curve, ranges from helping the CSPs prepare for the network, activate energy saving throughout the operation, and build for the future with 5G, with more precision, more intelligent, I would say, infrastructure, and making use of these digital technologies, that are, new in the market, like, for example, the new ones like AI, IoT, and the cloud. I want to stop here at 5G, because 5G for some might think that this is not in line with the energy efficiency. But I want to say that when we started to build, because sustainability is part of our core strategy, is part of who we are as a company, when we innovated 5G product, we made sure that energy efficiency is part of the architecture of that product. Our 5G product, for example, now is 6.6 times more energy efficient than 4G per transferred data. And our target is to be at 10 times more efficient by 2022, next year, helping breaking the energy curve through our operation and the way we do business, the product and the solutions we deliver, and the use of of our technology in our society, in mobile networks.
That's impressive. So you talked about your target set for year 2022. How does Ericsson look at the 2030 target to mitigate the effects of climate change?
Look, we understand that collaboration, this is one of the key messages that we are now, highlighting, that collaboration is key to drive the climate actions, and we understand as a company that we need to accelerate all the climate action and limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And to do this, we need at least to halve global greenhouse gas emission by 2030 and become a net zero by 2050. I would say at Ericsson, we believe that technology can enable a reduction of global carbon emission by up to 15% by 2030. And we work continuously, as I mentioned before, collaborating with the key stakeholders in the market to create that positive impact while also reducing our own emission. In a nutshell, as I mentioned, technologies and like 5G, IoT, AI, and the cloud can really help us to achieve those emissions, those reductions, and achieve our targets.
That's great. Thank you so much for the detailed answer. So now let's talk about e-waste. You know that e-waste is growing a major global environmental hazard. At the recent GITEX, Ericsson signed an MOU with Mobileye to recycle discarded electronic products. Can you please elaborate on Ericsson global initiative in doing away with the e-waste?
Look, e-waste is one of we understand. If you look at the market, e-waste is one of the fastest growing waste in the world in terms of volume. According to one of the recent reports, Global E-Waste Monitor 2017 by the ITU, the amount of e-waste reached 44.7 million tons in 2016, and it is estimated to continue growing, reaching 52.2 million, tons in 2021.
That's scary.
Indeed, it is scary. So minimizing, waste is key to this to create what we call the circular economy. And we know that high reuse and recycling rates start with a smart production design. As one of the manufacturers of the electrical and electronic hardware, we are committed as Ericsson to implementing a circular economy approach in our own business, and we are actively working to address this, e-waste trend. We use a life cycle, for example, approach to product design, and as well as efficient reuse of and recycling. The partnership with Mobileye is one of those examples. At the end of the product life, we offer our customers like Mobileye and like others a complete take-back service that includes secure data destruction. So it's a very it's I would say a collaborative work. But what I like that there is this awareness, there is this understanding by all the companies, I would say by leading companies in the industry, about the importance of taking such initiatives. This started way back in 2005. We launched this product take back program with the objective to minimize the environmental impact of our products. And it's rolling out throughout the years. We offer this program to our customers in 180 countries around the world. So it is a program that we are very, very proud of, and we look, to also, elaborate more on it or evolve it in the coming years.
Oh, okay. So in your previous question, you talked about the energy curve. I want to talk more about it. How does Ericsson place itself to break the energy curve and mobile networks in the 5G spectrum?
Yeah. I mean, look, as I mentioned before, we are working with our customers. We are supporting our customers to break the energy curve by developing our innovative solutions and services to meet their current demands and the highly, I would say increasingly high, demand, data growth demand in their network, while simultaneously as well, working or in parallel as well, working to address the energy and the carbon emission challenge. I'll give you an example. Just in the last few months, we carried, test pilots with, for example, Telefonica on energy efficiency feature in a bit to break the energy curve. And these pilots have taken also in Spain, in Brazil. We have initiated strong focus on achieving, sustainability and energy efficiency while also evolving, I would say, the 5G networks. This shows us or showed us that 5G technology is up to 90% more efficient, as I mentioned before, than 4G in terms of energy consumption. I think this is a huge number to also encourage, all the nations to accelerate their 5G plans and 5G,
Yes.
Commercial launch plans.
Right.
In a nutshell, we are committed to the breaking the energy curve, I would say, ambition, and we are working very thoroughly with our customers in the region, also globally, as I mentioned, in some countries around the world to achieve that.
Yes, that's great, and I'm very impressed with the work Ericsson is doing for the planet. Last year, Ericsson cut its emissions by 57% according to your sustainability report, which is
Correct.
12% more of the target. What is your target for the coming years?
Look, we remain, absolutely, you are right. We have cut our emissions by 57% as per our recent report, which is 12% more than, our target, which is an amazing achievement. And we remain committed to our carbon neutral target and our own operation by 2030. We have set a target of 35% energy saving in our Ericsson radio system, which is one of our, portfolio or product key leading products versus the legacy portfolio by 2022. We are committed to our target by 2025 of zero also fatalities and lost workday incidents, internally. I think this all also contribute to our, sustainability, I would say, agenda and sustainability contribution to the world.
Excellent, excellent. Last question, I won't take much of your time. It's about last year again, Ericsson partnered with UNICEF to map school connectivity in 35 countries and to increase it by 2023. Please tell me more about Ericsson vision of internet in every school by 2030.
So this is, I am very proud of this initiative that we have participated with the UNICEF, participating in connecting, or mapping school connectivity in 35 countries. This global partnership with UNICEF and the GIGA aims to connect every school and every child to the internet. I mean, look at the objective of this. When you connect a school, when you connect a child to the internet, you are opening up, an ocean of opportunities for this, child to grow and to learn, from the global, arena, I would say. Our role in this initiative is to support, through the collection and validation and analysis, monitoring and visualization of the real-time school connectivity data, what we call the mapping phase. Of course, there are other phases as part of the project, but we are very much, Ericsson is involved and engaged to secure the first phase, which is mapping of the schools. Through what we do through our experts in the technology, we had to provide an understanding of where connectivity is needed the most, and the goal for every young person to have access for information and shape, the generation of the school for children. For young people in particular, I see that digital connectivity can lead to really, as I mentioned before, powerful outcome, be it in education, in training, in employment or opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities. And this is not the first time Ericsson, participate, in these type of initiatives. We have actually, in the previous years, led our own initiatives under the Connect to Learn, where we connected schools, across Africa and across the world to the internet, and we had, many successful, I would say, examples of stories that people tell, that have benefited from this connectivity. So I'm very, very excited about this initiative, and together with my team, we drive this piece of it for Africa, and we are very proud of that, I would say.
That's very impressive and very interesting. Thank you so much for your time, Feda. It was a pleasure talking to you, and it was a very good conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for
and
the
we
opportunity.
hope to have you again with TechX in future.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to TechX to know more about what is happening inside the technology industry. Goodbye.